saw the apparition of Sarah Good. She did torture me most grievously. She did pinch me and prick me and urge me vehemently to write in her book.
The Salem witch trials took place between 1692 and 1693 in Salem, Massachusetts. More than 200 people were accused of practicing witchcraft and 20 were executed. Eventually, the colony realized that the trials were a mistake and compensated the families of those convicted. The plaintiffs would claim that the defendant or so-called witch had put a curse on them that only they could see. For instance, one girl had claimed that there was a bird pecking at her head and circling her, but the witch made it so that only she could see it. In this time, it didn't matter that there was no clear or tangible evidence, but people just believed that there really was something wrong based on the way the girls would act. The accusers would lead people to believe that the witch had been in touch with the devil. This was almost automatically assured that the person would be convicted. The Puritans felt so strongly that if someone were in touch with the devil and sinning without being punished, then the whole colony would suffer, hence the death penalty. The accusers would guide people's thoughts and feelings by spreading the idea of witches. They were able to make the people of Salem believe in witches even though there was no valid and tangible proof.
In 2005, an incident broke out in Waverly, Iowa at West Cedar Elementary School. Students claimed to have smelt an odor. When 10% of the student body came down with fatigue, headaches, itchy eyes, and dry throats, the school board decided to have the Environmental Protection Agency do $170,000 worth of testing. However, according to the EPA, all the tests came back from the lab negative. Even after this news came back, out of 131 parents, 41% of them wanted their children to switch schools. In this instance, there is no reason for the children to have gotten sick except for the fact that both they and their parents convinced themselves there was one.
At Ridge Meadows Elementary School in Wildwood, Missouri, 29 students were dismissed home from school because red blotches became noticeable on their upper bodies. These blotches also appeared on several teachers and faculty members. Because of this mysterious occurrence, the school was shut down the next day for disinfection. Despite the sanitation, 2 days later, there were 2 new cases of red blotches. The explanation for these illnesses could only possibly be that they were psychological and spread through the power of suggestion.
Scientists investigated a case in West Virginia school where 2 fourth graders went to the nurse for itching and rashes. By noon of February 22, 1982, 32 students were diagnosed with similar symptoms. Later, this number escalated to 57. Examinations of water, food, air, and the school grounds were all done and came back negative. It was said by doctors that after the 2 high-profile cases, the symptoms were spread by suggestion. Students would hear about what was happening when they would start to feel itchy, and then finally a rash would appear from so much itching. Several students were observed a half an hour after their interviews, and it was seen that they were no longer scratching, allowing the rashes to go away. Also, it was noticed that children only became itchy when they were in the school building and not once they left. The idea of this incident is similar to when people in school are sick and you start to feel like you are coming down with a cold, only because you are paranoid or convinced through the power of suggestion.
In Leroy, New York, Katie Krotwurst was the first to come down with several symptoms of stuttering, twitching, and convulsions. Soon after, her best friend, Theris Sanchez, was also suffering from the same symptoms. It wasn't long before more and more girls were getting sick. Doctors believed that the key cause of their symptoms was stress. However, parents disagreed, saying that the girls were all happy and stress-free. They believed that it was toxins that were leaked into the town from the old Jell-O factories. Due to the fact that it was only girls that were affected, it is more likely that this is purely a psychogenic illness. In the article, it's noted that during an interview, one of the girls would claim to have a stomach ache, and the other one followed. Later, one girl yawned, and the next girl did soon after. The two girls even finished each other's sentences. It is said that if you are around a person long enough, it is common to start mimicking their behavior. Power of suggestion seems like a practical reason for the spread of symptoms due to the lack of any reasonable or tangible.
This isn't a PowerPoint about drilling wells. This is a PowerPoint about how casings fail and allow gas and other substances to migrate into aquifers.
Whoa!
Fracking is a new method in which gas and oil is extracted from rocks ranging from 2,000 to 10,000 feet deep into the earth. This is done by drilling a pipe down through the aquifer and below the earth's surface. Then, millions of gallons of water and chemicals are injected into the rock formations, freeing the trapped methane gas. There is concern that when the gas is released, some of it seeps into the ground and into people's water sources. In the video Artists Against Fracking, the director talks about how your water could be contaminated and could even make you sick. He also alludes to the fact that your government could be lying to you and hiding charts that reveal leaking. This information could start to make someone a bit paranoid. By saying such things and showing the video of running water lighting on fire, he's trying to suggest that something is wrong in hopes that it will alter your opinion about fracking and get you on his side. He's using the technique of power of suggestion.